Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a Manchester man faces charges after allegedly stalking an 11-year-old girl. We'll meet the woman that young girl went to for help and hear what happened.
Police are releasing the names of the victims in a murder-suicide in Hartford. It happened at a senior living facility meant for grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. Police are also releasing clues into what led up to that horrific incident. We have the latest.
And mold concerns are growing across the state and at least one school district. That means students can't enter the classroom. We'll tell you what's next in getting that building clean.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And we begin tonight in Manchester, where a Dunkin' manager who helped make sure a young girl was safe is speaking out tonight. Thanks for joining us here on the news at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. A scary incident yesterday. A girl told police a man was following her. She then ran into a Dunkin' for help. Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner spoke with the Dunkin' manager who called for police. She joins us live in Manchester with this story. DeAndrea.
Hi, Sarah and Brent. Well, police say that all of this happened right before 2 p.m. yesterday. Now, I spoke with that manager on camera today, but she didn't want to show her face. However, she was able to tell her story.
She was shaken up. She was nervous. I said, it'll be okay. You know, I'm going to get the cops and everything will be fine.
It was a normal Wednesday afternoon during Dawn Smith's shift at Dunkin' Donuts until an 11-year-old girl came in saying a man was following her.
The girl came into the store and came up to the counter, and the coworker told the coworker that that guy outside is following her.
That guy was 36-year-old Israel Santiago Ortiz of Manchester. He was arrested and charged with second-degree breach of peace and risk of injury to a minor. Santiago Ortiz appeared in court today.
He did follow her, tried to bribe her with clothes, gum, and to help her, and then did stand outside of the location she went for safety and stared at her through the window.
Police say that when he was arrested, they found out he had 2 warrants out for his arrest for failing to appear in court.
We have serious concerns not only with the safety of the victim, but also for the safety of the public.
Now Smith is being declared as a hero for helping the girl get to safety, but she says otherwise.
I would do it for anybody, and I think of my kids.
She says she just hopes this teaches other kids and parents a little more about stranger danger.
More kids need to know if something like that happens, go where there's a lot of people so that people can help you.
And also in court today, the judge set down a no contact order for Ortiz. Now, what that means is that he has completely no contact with the young girl during this court process or even after. In Manchester, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61. DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
DeAndrea, thank you. Turning to the forecast now, our stretch of warm, dry weather is coming to a close, and that means the weather is actually about to catch up with the calendar.
But not after we snuck in another spectacular weather day. We can't complain there. Here's Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank with more on today's nice weather.
Yeah, it sure was nice, and it was as good as it gets outside today with highs in the 70s to near 80 degrees. But yes, goodbye to the warmth and the sunshine. We've got clouds that are rolling in, areas of patchy fog, and once again, it could be locally dense. We're looking at visibility down to about a mile in Groton, but again, I think the fog will be dense as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. We're watching a slow moving cold front that will approach, and that will bring us off and on showers as we head through Friday and yes, Saturday too. So yet another weekend that we have to talk about rain prospects, but it's not a total weekend washout at least. Heading through the overnight, again, that fog to start off the day tomorrow. Overnight lows in the 50s to right around 60 degrees. And we'll see a chance for an off and on shower right through the day tomorrow. There will be some dry time in between, but overall it's cloudy, it's damp. There could be areas of mist and drizzle occasionally. And there is a chance for some locally heavier downpours during the day on Saturday, but not for everyone. We're going to talk more about the weekend forecast so you can make your plans and the changes for next week coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. Hartford police say a minor argument led to a murder-suicide just before noon today. It happened in the city's north end outside a living facility for grandparents who raised their grandchildren. Police say 67-year-old Luis DeJesus shot 70-year-old Faniel Freeman several times before turning the gun on himself. The whole incident unfolding on security cameras and neighbors saying they heard the gunshots. People living at that facility saying they saw Freeman smiling and laughing right before the shooting. Shot spotter technology alerted Hartford police to the gunfire in the parking lot behind 35 Clark Street, again, just before noon.
We have a pretty good idea of what happened. In fact, we have some good video which clearly shows an altercation between two elderly males, which resulted in one of the males shooting the other several times and then shooting himself.
Yeah, neither of those men survived. Police are calling the shooting senseless and tragic.
On the tail end of the Jewish holiday of Sukkot, members of a synagogue in Hamden are reeling over a bomb threat that was made today. There's been a nationwide surge in anti-Semitic threats and violence, but this threat forced events at Congregation Mishkan Israel to be canceled today. It also closed the preschool. Police thankfully found no bomb at the synagogue, and police are still investigating exactly what happened.
And still developing tonight, a former Hartford police officer has been arrested for allegedly falsifying traffic tickets. Michael Fallon was taken into custody Tuesday on perjury and forgery charges, both of them felonies. And this comes after an internal affairs investigation found that during traffic stops, Fallon incorrectly reported the driver's gender 12 times and their race 19 times. It also found he failed to properly tag evidence and failed to properly operate his body camera. Fallon was released on a promise to appear and is due back in court next week.
The state's chief public defender is reprimanded, being accused of antagonizing and disrespecting employees, among a long list of other things. The commission overseeing Connecticut's public defender says in a letter, Chief Tashawn Bowden-Lewis has engaged in inappropriate and unacceptable behavior. Specifically, their list of grievances include accusations of failing to address low morale, antagonizing and disrespecting employees, and using unfounded allegations of racial discrimination against people who disagree with her. Bowden-Lewis also took the role, Bowden-Lewis only took the role a year ago. The commission's telling her to fix the behavior or she could face some disciplinary action. We've reached out to her office for comment, but have yet to hear back.
Well, new tonight, another break in a New Britain cold case. Police have arrested a second suspect on murder charges in the 2017 shooting death of a New Britain man. The Chief State's Attorney's Office says 30-year-old Jamel Evans of New Britain is charged with the 2017 murder of Gabriel Pereira. He is the second suspect to be charged in the deadly April 2017 shooting on Park Street. Last month, officials arrested another man, Michael Coleman, and charged him with murder.
State police arrest a woman on murder charges months after a shooting and crash on Norwalk Highway. Back in February, troopers say a man was found inside a vehicle that had crashed on Route 7 in Norwalk. That man, John Gavilanes, was found shot in the head. State police say his vehicle was riddled with bullet holes. State police charge Gavilanes' ex-girlfriend, Liliana Mejia, with murder and hindering prosecution. Troopers say she was involved with a man who he was feuding with. More arrests in the case are expected.
In Manchester tonight, a man accused of trying to sexually assault a 65-year-old woman faced a judge today. It happened on a trail at Charter Oak Park shortly after noon yesterday. Police say 30-year-old Daquan Clark Blue threw the woman to the ground, groped and sexually assaulted her, and then tried to run off with her purse and her cell phone, but she fought back and got those back. Parkgoers were stunned at the news.
I'm 65, and it's like, thank God she had the wits about her. I mean, she fought him off, and from what I hear, he was a very big man.
And not only did the victim get back her phone, she managed to snap a photo of the suspect with it. That helped police track him down to a nearby house. Clark Blue is being held on a $500,000 bond. He is expected to reappear in court later this month on charges that include sexual assault, strangulation, larceny, and robbery. Well, new tonight, a mold problem in a Connecticut school has displaced students and teachers for months.
Yeah, you're looking at pictures right now released of the mold in question. These images were released in an air quality report conducted by the school. Experts say wet weather is to blame.
Fox 61's Gabby Molina is live in Deep River tonight with those details. Gabby, what do you have?
Brent and Sarah, John Winthrop Middle School brings in students from Deep River, Chester, and Essex, and they've all been out of this building since last month while they waited on the results of that mold and indoor air quality report. The findings will keep them out of the building for quite some time. Weeks after a mold problem was suspected inside John Winthrop Middle School in Deep River, Regional School District 4 now has some answers.
That we do in fact have a pretty pervasive mold issue in our middle school.
Air and surface tests found mold in several areas around the school, including bathrooms, classrooms, and hallways. And the problem is going to take months to fix.
We do have some pretty good initial thinking on around our HVAC system, which is most likely a contributing factor, if not a significant contributing factor. We found that there were very high levels of humidity in the school, which were creating the conditions for mold to occur.
Experts say the wet weather this year has made it easy for problems like this one to occur. And this school is not the only one in Connecticut to have mold since the school year began.
Water will find a way in, and we've just had so much rain this year that it will find its way into places that you wouldn't have seen it before.
Laura Champagne of Natural Home Solutions, which provides mold testing and cleanup services, says the issue can be much more than surface level.
Especially when the humidity rises, it just makes the perfect thing, and you don't see it on the outside. People a lot of times want to clean just what they see on the outside. It's not the black stuff that's on the surface that's a problem for you. It's stuff that goes up in the air.
And that can have health impacts.
And that it can aggravate things like allergies, asthma.
Middle school students and teachers in Deep River have been at the high school since the problem was discovered in early September, and that has them facing other challenges.
So what we're finding is that having two schools in that building simultaneously has resulted in space constraints. Right now, there is some stress around having both schools there, knowing that it's going to be for a longer period of time. And so we're working to make the situation much more tenable.
The superintendent tells me the middle school has about 220 students and that the high school does have the capacity for those extra students, but because it's going to take so long, they're going to be looking at all solutions to make sure that both students and teachers are comfortable. Live in Deep River, Gabby Molina, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.